Hey guys, what is going on? This is going to be your map guide for the USS Texas 1945 in Vanguard Season 4. Now I understand that this map does get a little bit of hate, but I feel like it definitely plays a little bit better than it used to. Now, this map is a little bit complicated. It's pretty large in terms of actual length and distance and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff that we can cover here. We very likely won't be able to cover all of it here today because there is a lot of different lines of sight on this map. So if you do think I did miss anything, make sure you leave it in the comments to help out all of your fellow Call of Duty players. If you do think there is a line of sight that I did miss, make sure you leave it in the comments because that's very important about this kind of thing. But as we normally do, we're going to start off with the flags. The C flag is at this end of the boat here with the big old cannon that you can't reach. Basically, this is sort of a little bit of an interesting area, a couple of different lines of sight that you can see from the C flag. Most notably, probably this one. People do come out here and then sort of aim at the C flag. And moving through the map, of course, the B flag is on the left-hand side of the boat, sort of in the middle, as you could probably expect, sort of on this side. Again, this does sit in the middle of a bowl-like area where there is long lines of sight where you can be seen from there, up there, and again, you can be seen from the other side as well. So you do sort of have to play in and out of these box areas kind of thing to sort of not get shot while you are taking the C flag. And of course, there is doors that typically are left open. This particular site usually leaves the doors open. The other times, the doors that are in this area here can be closed or open depending on who is playing in them. Sort of varies depending on who's playing there. And for the most part, these are typically left open just because it's a little bit easier. Moving towards the other side of the ship, we do see that the A flag is all the way. This thing's really long, man. The A flag is all the way over here. And you can see, not very well protected in terms of cover. Typically, people will hide behind this kind of boxy setup thing just to sort of not get shot. Again, you'll be looking there, you'll be looking there, and you try and look up there again at that big old window to try and not get shot on the A flag. But typically pretty easy to capture. So, important lines of sight that we can start off with here are, again, the bit that we did mention earlier, where we were standing very close to the C flag. We're not going to go back there just yet because, I mean, this is very, very common knowledge here. You see these sniper locations back here, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't typically like this map, is these people do sit back here, and it's very, very frustrating when you are sort of sitting up in the middle, trying to sort of run around in these areas of the map, and people are just sitting back here sniping. Definitely a great spot to sit for long shots and stuff like that. Of course, both ends of the boat are going to be fantastic for long shots as you are very, very far away from most sort of highly trafficked areas of the map, but it is very boring if you do sit up here. But again, it is a viable option to sit back here and just sort of take sniping shots at people and other things, but it's not typically the way I want to play the game. Again, moving up here is a very similar location on this side. You do get a very good overlook of the B flag. As you can see, you do get a nice little line of sight towards it, but again, you'll be contested by people sitting on the exact other side. Again, you sort of look at this side and go, yep, people can shoot you from there, so you got to be a little bit careful. Also, people can see you from the top window of the boat, and the exact same thing does exist on the other side. The lines of sight are just slightly different, but again, this is mostly symmetrical. Like, it's mostly symmetrical in the terms of that kind of thing. Again, you can move up these stairs, and again, fairly long lines of sight all the way down the ship, and that is actually one of the interesting features about this map. You can sort of sit in areas like this, and you do have to, again, contend with the sort of like upper deck kind of bit. So keep that spot in mind, keep that in mind. There's usually going to be people sitting in this room, so chuck your grenades in those windows. You can of course shoot through those windows as well, get rid of all the boards, and just chuck grenades in there, and you should get some tags or at least a kill on somebody who is sitting in there. Moving back into this area here from the A flag, a lot of people do like to sit in here. This is not too bad of a spot. It is actually fairly well protected. If you do find yourself in here, typically this is going to be because you are sort of holding a spawn trap on the A flag, and you're going to be moving in and out of this area, sort of shooting people at that spot there, maybe a couple of guys up there. People do spawn behind that little like turrety, bowly looking thing back there as well. So keep that in mind. If you are in this spot, you'll be looking here, looking there, and looking as people run around that side and try and get up onto that area there. But once you do sort of take a couple of shots, take a couple of gunfights, you will be immediately ambushed by people. Keep in mind there is also a little hatch that you can drop down into. You can't use this to get back up or anything like that, but you can drop down into here if you need to, and you usually use that to sort of slide into this area, get a couple of kills, and then rotate back out. Getting out of this area is a little bit tricky, unfortunately. It's a little bit lame. Like you can see, there's not too many good options here. If you run up here, you're going to be exposed from there. Like, there's a lot of different lines of sight where you can be seen, but the other alternative is to run towards the doors there. And again, if you do run across this area, you're exposed to there, exposed to sort of there, and as you run across the doors there, and then maybe somebody might even be hiding in here. So if you do want to move out of this area, it's a little bit risky, so you try and stay here as long as you can. And once you do decide to move out of this area, I would typically recommend going towards the doors, just because I feel like it's a little bit of a shorter distance than sort of running up to the stairs there, and you're sort of less likely to get killed depending on where you do actually kill people. So say you get a couple of kills here, Kill a guy there, maybe kill a guy there. Typically, they are going to try and spawn directly behind this box, so sort of in this area over there. And that's sort of when you can take your opportunity to move out of this area. You sort of have to decide which risk is actually worth it. Sometimes it's up there, and sometimes it is sort of going towards the door. You sort of just have to play it by ear and sort of decide at the time. Usually, you'll be able to get out of that area. Say you run towards the middle bit, and you get into this area here, you will sort of constantly be looking around these areas. A new part of the map that wasn't featured in the original is this sort of boxy bit, this sort of destructible environment bit that does allow you to get outside onto the B area. This is actually a really cool addition to the map. Usually before, this was all boxed in and you actually could only get out of this way. You can only take the doors or the sort of main doorway bits. Now having this sort of little extra area does allow you to sort of make some rotates and move around this map a little bit more easily, and I do really think that is a fantastic addition to the game. So continuing on our look at this side of the map, of course we can sit up in here. This is a very common spot. Again, if you do decide to move out of this area, you can get shot from up in this corner here, but again, you will typically know if there are people up in here. They'll be taking shots at you there, they'll shoot you up there, they'll shoot you there. You'll know if people are in here, and typically there are people in here. People love to sit in this corner as well, but again, this pillar is a very important line of sight, as it basically does block off that doorway. So if you are in here, sort of play around this pillar, make sure people can't really see you and take them out, and then move up in maybe this spot, make sure there's nobody on here, do a little peek out. People love to run up these stairs, so you will typically get a lot of your kills sort of going like this, maybe shoot somebody there and take out somebody who was on that spot there, and then move back in, and then you can rotate back to the window. And that's typically how I like to play this map. You're just trying to take advantage of the spawns and get people off the spawn, of course, and that's the way it goes with most Call of Duty maps. That's pretty standard. So yeah, you get your kills here. People do run out of this way, so you will be killing them sort of in that area there most of the time. But again, you could be exposed from the long line of sight, so you just got to be aware of where you are killing people from. They could be there, they could be there, they could even manage to get up to here and you might not be aware, so just keep that in mind. Sort of shoot people there and then move out of this area, rotate back across and see if you can pick off some more people. And then eventually what I like to do is run little circles around this area and see if the spawns did flip, and then run into this area, get a couple of kills there, maybe on top of that bit there, and then you just rotate back. That's usually how I like to play, just sort of rotating between these upper areas of the map, as it is very powerful to sit in both of those locations. Another interesting part of this particular map is this area here. This boxy bit didn't used to be here as far as I can tell. Like, there's a very long line of sight all the way back to near the C flag, and then you can see all the way back onto the area up the, like that uppy snipey bit up there that we did talk about is the reverse angle of back there. But again, you can actually use this to sort of jump into this area here as well. There is another little destructible bit that I think is actually very cool. I really do like that those are added to this map, as they do add a little bit of variety here. One of the things that I did come across the other day was when I was in this area, there was a guy, I was sort of in this area, the below bit, and I was running from this way. I was coming this way, and I knew there was an enemy around here, and I saw he ducked up, like he jumped up the top, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to probably move into this area, and I was right. He was sitting here. He was sitting exactly in this spot here, sort of looking towards this doorway and all these lovely things. And so I decided to push up from where I was sitting, which was under this box here, and I was like, yep, you know what, we're going to go this way. And once I worked out that he wasn't in this area here, my next logical decision was to go and shoot there. And I shot him, and I got the kill. It was actually a very cool little rotation while the boxes or the planks were still there, because he had no idea where I was. He didn't see me, and I knew he was there, so I was just going to shoot him, and I got a nice kill. So keep that in mind. That's a tricky little spot where you can get a couple of kills, as long as the wood's still there. If the wood's not there, it's very easy, and he actually might be able to turn around and see you. As I said, there's a lot of different lines of sight on this map, so we're probably not going to be able to cover all of them. Just want to get rid of that box for the most part in this area and try and get some shots down the range, man. It's very important to get those shots down as quickly as possible. Alrighty, moving on. As I said, there's a lot of lines of sight to cover, so we're trying to go a little bit quickly here. Again, sitting in this window and up here is typically a pretty decent spot, as you can get coverage on most people who are spawning here. Again, you do have to care the sort of snipery bit back there, and then people sitting up here waiting for you to peek out of these windows and stuff. So just keep in mind, while this is a very powerful position, you can get a lot of different lines of sight, a lot of easy kills on people who are just spawning. If you sit in here too long, they'll just send people for you, and it'll be a pretty easy kill in this area. I do like to usually bounce grenades and stuff off this doorway. Try and bounce them off that doorway. Not an impact grenade, of course, as they will sort of bounce into that area, try and get a little bit of a tick, and then you'll know somebody is in here. People do love to sit behind this box. They will sit here in case you are coming up the stairs. They will sit here in case you're coming up the stairs. So just be aware, if you are moving into these rooms, there's a lot of locations where you do have to check beforehand. So you sort of have to move into this area a little slowly. Check there, check the corner there, and then move up. Use this as cover, and then usually you'll be able to kill people who do move up to the ladder, and then they'll sit there, or they will sort of spawn on the stairs as well, and you'll be doing the exact reverse of what you see on the other side, and is shoot people in that guy there. And then usually they'll come sort of around this area here, get some easy kills, and then you'll move back into the windows, maybe take out somebody who is sitting there, and then you'll rotate back across once the spawns do flip, depending on what game mode you're playing in, and you just basically do that for the entirety of the map. You get some kills there, get some kills there, maybe shoot somebody there, and then you'll sort of go out here, get an easy kill on somebody there, and then you'll basically just rotate back across the other side if the spawns do flip. If they don't, you sort of have to play a little bit of a different angle, maybe come around there, get some shots, and that's basically how I like to play this map. So many times people do get into these areas in the middle of the boat, but again, you do have to sort of pay attention to your minimap and really rely on this sort of up and down arrow depending on the elevation of where people are. If you're in this area and there is a like down facing arrow, people will be below you, and you'll probably notice that they're going to be in that area there, or sort of moving in this cafeteria area. You take them out and then you move, maybe go to where they were and then it was spawning. Look at this door, get a kill on them, and again, just sort of rotate between these areas. You can really use these stronghold positions in the middle of the map, and the sort of map does sort of stress out a little bit if you are like the ones spawning in this area trying to get towards here. But keep in mind, I love to sit in this area of the middle of the map because it is hotly contested all the time, and really this is sort of the like main hub area of the map. A little bit of an interesting hint that I did notice when I was playing this, I actually did lose a gunfight in this area here. You can actually open these. You can actually open these like little lockery things and use this to your advantage. I'm not sure if this is like client side or server side, but when I moved into this area and somebody was chilling in this spot here, I sort of ran through here and I actually couldn't see them. Like, you look at this area and you move into here, you're really only going to be able to see their legs, which if you can only see their legs, you might not be able to see them automatically, especially if you sort of move into this area. So what happened was, I was in a little bit of an event, moving through this area here, and I basically just went like that. And there was just a dude chilling behind these doors, man, and he just shot me. I'm like, okay, that's pretty great. We'll go a different way. So we actually moved into this area, we went around this side, and I moved into this area, and I was like, hey, yeah, I got you this time. And I shot at him, and then the thing blocked the bullets. Like, this blocks bullets, man. Like you can't shoot through it. And I'm like, wow, that's really strong. I got to include that in the map guide. So again, if somebody is sitting here, or if you want to sit here, make sure you sort of give these a little tap before you sit in this area, because I mean, this is a very nice little bit of like cover that's sort of technically bulletproof. It's actually really cool. So keep that spot in mind, man. That's powerful. Sadly, the same doesn't apply to the other side, as the lockers are in a slightly different location. But again, people do sit in this corner. They'll sit in this corner and wait for people to spawn there. They'll sit in this corner behind these barrels. They'll try and move through these areas here. So again, as I said, the main way I love to play this map is you basically just use this middle area as like rotation central. So you'll get a couple of kills there. You'll get a couple of kills there. You will rotate back across, for example. You move back in through the mess hall. Come back in here, maybe get a guy, maybe see a guy coming up here, get a kill on him, and then you'd be like, hey, there's a guy upstairs. And you get a kill, maybe peek that corner there, check that corner there, move up into this area. Kill the guy who's sitting there, maybe kill the guy on respawn who's coming up there, and then you'll rotate back through here. Wait in this corner until you know somebody's there. People typically move in this area like this. They will literally just go la 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 la, and they'll run like that. They won't check this corner. Check this corner. You need to check this corner. And you'll get a kill on them, then you peek out and you get another kill on the guy on respawn who does come from that way. And then you'll rotate back across. This is very important information to remember. Play in this area of the map like this, and you'll rotate back across, get a couple of kills. And you just sort of circulate around this area of the map. Sometimes you'll go out here and try and get a little bit of a longer pick, maybe get a different kill on the guy coming up the stairs, rotate back into this area, and then you get another kill. Again, there are a lot of different lines of sight on this map that I've definitely missed. I really haven't covered too much of the B flag, as I don't typically play in this area, because I mean, I'm not a long range, like line of sight kind of guy, so you do have to play in and out of this area, like care of the doorway. So again, this is going to be your map guide for, of course, the USS Texas 1945. As I said, there are a lot of lines of sight on this map that I definitely missed, and if you did think I did miss something very important, make sure you do let me know. You can sit in these. I don't typically recommend it, as this is like a grenade sort of hot spot. Somebody can very easily bounce a grenade off like the dartboard or that wall there, and you will die if you are sitting in this spot, so don't sit here. Don't recommend that at all. But again, if you did enjoy this and it did help you out at all, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. I do very much appreciate it, and it really does help me out. This map's just really big, man. I can't really cover everything that's useful on this map just because it's so massive. But again, thanks for watching this one, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye!